Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Genalytiq. This is part 2 of our complete SQL beginner to advanced course. In the previous part, we have learned the fundamentals of SQL. Now it's time to make our SQL queries more powerful by learning SQL functions. In this part, we will cover string functions, numeric functions, date functions, null handling functions, flow control functions like if and case, and finally aggregate functions with practical examples from our real e-commerce database. So without wasting any more time, let's get started. Next, we will understand about SQL function. So far, we have learned about select. So basically, select we use to retrieve data. Then we have seen distinct, remove duplicates, and unique data. Then we have learned order by. Then we have learned limit, all these things, right? But now see, in real project, data is really stored exactly the way we want to display it. For example, suppose in our table, our customer name is, SQRT, Sam, John, like this. But we need to display these names in a uppercase format. That means like this, Sam, John, like this, right? Sometime maybe if we have name like John Martin, sometime we have here multiple space. So sometime we need to remove this extra space between the name. Sometime in our column we have data like this. Then we need to find, suppose, sum, average, percentage. Sometime if our data is something 10.02, 20.09, sometime we need to make it rounded figure. Okay, rounded figure. So performing all of these tasks manually would be very difficult task, right? So this is where SQL function becomes very useful. Now basically the SQL function is a predefined built-in function. SQL function is basically a predefined built-in function provided by MySQL that performs a specific operation on one or more values and return a result. So instead of writing complex logic yourself, we can simply call our function pre-built function, all the pre-built function, and MySQL perform the operation automatically. Suppose we have function like sum. If we need to perform sum in our data, then we have pre-built function like sum. Whenever we call this sum function, automatically we get the entire sum value from this entire column, right? So this is how we can use our predefined inbuilt function, and MySQL will perform the entire operation automatically. In the same way, we have multiple different type of inbuilt function. Now see, before learning individual function one by one, you have to understand one very important concept. That is, all the SQL function will not work in the same way. Some function work in one row at a time, and some other function works on entire row. Okay, some function works on one row at a time, and some function works on entire row at a time. Based on this concept, we have two different type of SQL function. One is single row function and another is aggregate function. So we can distribute all our SQL function in two categories. One is a single row function, another is aggregate function. Now let's understand one by one. First one is single row function. So basically single row function works on one row at a time. One row at a time. Always remember, if for every input row, they return exactly one output value. For example, if your query have 100 rows, then the function will also return 100 result. Okay, if your query have 100 rows, then the function will return also the 100 result. For example, we have customer name like John Smith, Alice Brown, or Michael Lee, something like this. Now our aim is we need to make all my name in uppercase. So we can use our inbuilt function, that is upper. Okay, using upper, what will happen? This will become John Smith. This will become Alice Brown. And this will become Michael Lee. So all the letter will be capitalized. So if you notice, each row processed individually. This row processed first, then it become capitalized. Then this row get processed, then it becomes capitalized, and so on. So each row processed individually. And three input, these three are inputs. So three input produce three outputs. Right? Three inputs produce three outputs. Nothing was combined. So this is called one row at a time. And this is called single row function. So whenever our SQL function works on each row individually, then it is called single row function. So based on the different type of go-to function, our single row function is categorized in different function. First one is string function. So in string function, we have upper, lower. These are the inbuilt function. Concat, left, right, substring. Right? In the same way, we have another function, that is numeric function. In numeric function, we have round, we have floor, we have seal, we have ABS, absolute. Next, we have datetime function. In datetime function, we have now. Don't worry, I will show all the function individually one by one with examples. We have now, we have current date, we have year, we have month. Next, we have null handling function. So in null handling function, we have IFNULL, NULLIF, and COALESCE. And finally, another function that we have, that is flow control function, flow control function. In flow control function, we have if and case. So these all are my different type of single row function. And based on the working function, they are also categorized as string function, numeric function, DATEDIFF function, null handling function, and flow control function. Right? Now let's see what is aggregate function. Aggregate function. So aggregate function works on multiple row together. So single row function was single row at a time, and aggregate function works in multi row together. So basically, in aggregate function, instead of returning one row for every row, they return one summarized value for entire set or rows. For example, suppose we have amount column. Here we have 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. Now we need to perform some aggregate operation like sum, average, count, everything. So in order to find out our total sum in this entire column, we have one function in function, that is sum. If we want to see how many records we have, then we can use count in the function. Now if you want to take what is the minimal value from in the entire column, then we have in the function, that is mean. In the same way, we have max in order to get our maximum value. Now if you want to get the average value for this amount column, then we have function, that is average, right? So using this aggregate value, basically we are summarizing all our value, and finally we are getting one single result. That is why it is called aggregate function works on multiple row together. So it's basically summarizing my entire set of value and then giving me one single result. So these are the different type of SQL function that we have in our SQL. Now let's see each function with practical example. So now let's start with our very first string SQL function, that is upper. So the upper function is basically used to convert all our lowercase alphabet characters in a string into uppercase, right? Now let me take one table, suppose customer table. Now see, there is a shortcut. Instead of writing customer all the time select star from customer tables, what you can do, you can right click on the table and select on this select rows limit 2000. Now it will retrieve all your entire table. It is also writing the same code, so you don't need to write this statement again and again. So you just right click on the table and just select rows, right? So this is my table. Now let's do one thing. My customer name is normal. Now I want to convert all my customer name in uppercase. So all the character that is already in lowercase, that will be converted in uppercase. Okay. So for that we have to write select which column I want to convert, that is customer column. Customer name. Now if I use my upper clause directly into this column name, then you will get a single column in customer name and all the name will be in uppercase. But just for showing, what I can do, I can create another column, virtual column. Okay, one virtual column. Now see, upper, within this I have to pass my column name, that is customer name. As this is my virtual column, so I have to give a name of this column using as clause. As, suppose I just write customer name upper. So this is my virtual column. So Always remember, this column will not get stored in my table. My table will be as it is. Just for your understanding purpose, I'm just getting this virtual column, and I just give the name, customer name upper for this column. Now I have to pass my table name. This is customer. That means first my customer name, this column will be displayed. This column as it is, it will be displayed. Now I am creating a virtual another column, and this column will not get stored. Always remember. And I am creating a virtual column in this number, and here I am just uppercasing all my customer name using this upper clause. Right? Now if I execute, sorry, it would be customers. Now see, this is my normal column, customer name, and here all the name gets converted to uppercase, and this is my virtual column that I have created. So using upper clause, I am just converting all my lowercase character in my string to uppercase. Right? In the same way, if I take another example, suppose product table. Now in the same way, I can update my product name as well in uppercase. So for that also I have to write select product name. I'm just converting my column directly over here. So I just use upper. Okay. And I'm giving a name. I'm giving a name to this column. That is product name upper from product table. Now if I execute, now see, all my product name gets converted to uppercase, and my column name is product name upper. Right? So this is my upper clause, using which we can convert all our lowercase character in our string to uppercase. Next we have lower. The lower also works just like upper, but the difference is the lower function converts all uppercase alphabet character in a string into lower. Upper converts all lowercase to uppercase, lower converts all uppercase to lowercase. So here if we write, just in case of lower, I have to pass my lower. I have to pass my lower clause. Now if I take my product name column as well, now see, this is my product name that is stored in my table. Now all the character that is capital in my name that converted in small. Now see, the first character in the first name and first character in the last name is capital in everywhere. Now it's also converted to small. So to convert all the uppercase into lowercase, we have to use lower clause. In the same way, if you take customer example, now see, if I write lower, now see, this is my name, and all the upper character gets converted to lower character. Right? So upper is used to convert our lower character to upper character, and lower is used to convert our upper character to lower character. Next function we have, that is length and character length. Length and character length. So basically length, this length returns the length of the string in bytes. Okay, length of the string in bytes, and this character length also returns the length of a string, but that is in character. Both will return the length of a string, but this length returns in bytes, that is size, whatever it takes in our system, in bytes and it returns in character. Now, for example, if we try to see the length of customer name, okay, customer name, then for that we have to write select customer name then we have to write length of which column, that is customer name, and I am giving a name to this column as length in bytes, length in bytes, and another is character length. Here also I need to pass my customer name column, and I am giving one name to this column, that is length in character. Okay. Now here I have to pass my table name, that is customers. So using this length, I will get the length of the string, that means name. Okay, length of the name in bytes, and using this character length, I will get the length of this name in character. Okay, in character. Now if I execute, now see, my by John Smith, the bytes is 10 and length is 10. Now David Smith also, my bytes is 11 and length in character, that is also 11. Now see, you might be thinking both are same. Why? Because always remember, for most day-to-day SQL queries involving English language, right? English text. So both function returns the same result. Always it will, most of the time it will return the same result. But if you use any other language like Chinese language, Bengali language, or Japanese language, or if you have any kind of emojis or any Unicode character in your text, then your both function will return different value, right? So for example, if I show you select length, and here if I provide one Chinese word, this is a Chinese word, that is, this is Chinese word of dolphin. Okay, dolphin in English, dolphin, that is this Chinese word. Now I am giving one name, length bytes, and another with character length. Here I am also passing the same Chinese word as length character. Now see, now if I execute, this is not from any table, right? I'm just converting, I'm just trying to get length and character length of a word, of a Chinese word. Okay, only I'm just trying to get this length and character length of this Chinese word. That's it. Now if I execute, GTH, I make the spelling mistake. Now see, this Chinese word, that is dolphin, in English that is dolphin, this is my Chinese word. As I am trying to get the length of this Chinese word, so it is taking 6 bytes in my system. It is taking 6 bytes in my system, but the character length is 2. Here I have only 2 characters there. These Chinese characters, say we have 1 and 2. We have only 2 characters, right? That is why in character length it is showing 2, but in case of length it is showing 6, because the bytes, the size of this word is 6. So I hope you understand. In case of English, most of the time in English test, my length and character length both will be same. But if you use different type of language, or if you have any kind of emojis or Unicode in your word, then the length of the string in bytes and length of the string in character both will be different. So I hope you understand where to use this length and where to use this character length. Whenever we need to find out the length of a string in bytes, then we have to use this length. And whenever we need to find out the length of the string in character, then this character length has to be used. And in case of English text, English language, most of the time these both will return the same result. But if you have a different language, or in your text, if you have emojis or something, any codes, whatever it is, English language or different language, that time these both will return the different value. Next we have CONCAT. We have CONCAT. CONCAT. So basically, CONCAT function is used to combine two or more string into a single string. Okay, to combine two or more string into a single string, we need to use this CONCAT. So how we can use this? This is my customer table. So let's do one thing. I'm just combining my customer name and city. Okay, customer name and city. So for that, I have to write select first column is customer name, then I just take city, then I'm creating one virtual column where I will combine these two column. Okay, so for that, first of all, I have to write concat, because I am to concatenate my multiple column. So first I have to pass my customer name column, comma, then what I am to combine? The city column, right? Now I want to give a space or a hyphen between these two names. So for that, I have to concatenate either space or hyphen. That's it. That means my concatenation will be like this. First it will be customer name, then hyphen, then city name. Okay. Now I am giving a name of this column as customer details. From my table as customers. Now if I execute, now see, this is my customer name, this is my city name as it is from my table, and this is my virtual column where my customer name and city name gets merged, gets combined. Okay, my customer name and city name gets combined. Now see, my name hyphen New York, my name hyphen city name, right? Now if you don't pass this hyphen, then your both name will be joined together. Now see, it gets joined together. So to make it separate, I just made a space or hyphen. So basically, I'm concatenating my customer name, hyphen, and city. I'm concatenating these three together, right? So this is my result. Now if I take other table, product table. So now let's concatenate my product name and this price. Okay, this price. And I want to join with a dollar sign. Like just like this. This is my name, suppose. This is my name. Then I want to put a parenthesis, and within this parenthesis, I want to put my price, suppose 100, and I want to put a dollar sign. I want to do like this. Name, I have name and I have price. Now I want to put this into a parenthesis and with a dollar sign. So let's do it. Select product name and price. Now here I need to create another column, virtual column. So concat, here I'm concatenating my product name and price. Now see, if I just pass this, execute this as it is. Now let me give a name, that is product details. From products. Now if I execute as it is, now see, my product name and price got joined together. Okay, my product name and price got joined together. But my requirement is product name, then I have to start my parenthesis, then dollar sign, then I have to put my price, then I have to end my parenthesis. This is my format where I am to get my product details, right? So for that, what I have only this name and this price. I don't have this parenthesis and dollar sign. So I have to put starting parenthesis and dollar sign before price. So here I have to pass parenthesis and dollar sign, comma, then I have to pass my price, right? Now finally I have to end with a closing parenthesis. Now here again I have to pass my closing parenthesis. Now see, my product name will come first, then this opening parenthesis and dollar sign will come, then my price will come, then finally my closing parenthesis will come, right? Now if I execute, now see, my name, first opening parenthesis, dollar, then price, then closing parenthesis. Now if you want to get a separator, suppose I want to get a separator like this. Now see, this is my product name, then my separator is this, then my opening parenthesis is coming, then dollar sign, then price, then finally closing parenthesis, right? So basically I'm concatenating all of them together. So always remember, using concat clause, whatever you want to concatenate or combine, just you have to pass everything one by one, separated by comma, and that's it. That will combine all your string together. One very small thing that you need to remember, always remember, if in case of concat, if you pass any argument as null, okay, as null, suppose I just pass null, then concat cannot skip this null, so my result will be null. Now see, my result will be null. So in your arguments, when you use concat, then in your arguments, if any value is null, then your result will be null. Instead, concat cannot skip this null. Okay. So if you want to ignore this null, and you want to concatenate all your string as it is, then you have to use our next string, that is concat ws. That means concatenation with separate. So if you use null as an argument within this concat function, then concat cannot ignore this null. So your value will be null. But if you want to ignore this null and you want to concatenate all your string, then you have to use concat ws. So if I take the same example, but before executing, you have to understand the structure while write our concat ws. Now see, in case of concat, let me do one thing. In CONCAT, our format was CONCAT string 1, string 2, string 3, something like this. And if you want to put any separator over here, then each time you have to pass this separator like this. Right? That means my string 1 come first, then it will separate it with hyphen, then string 2 will come, then again my separator will come, and then string 3, like this. Right? So this is my CONCAT structure. Now in case of CONCAT WS, what is the structure? CONCAT WS, instead of writing just like this, instead of writing this separator again and again, what you can do, you can just pass your separator once. That's it. Now here you have to pass your string 1, string 2, string 3, and so on. Understand? In case of CONCAT, you have to pass string, then separator, then string, then separator, then string, something like this. But in case of CONCAT WS, first initially you have to pass your separator, then you have to pass your all string one by one. Okay, this is the format of CONCAT WS. Now if I take this same example, now first of all I have to use CONCAT WS, then I have to start with my separator. Suppose I want to separate all my columns using hyphen. This is my separator. Then my product name will come. Then let me do one thing. Let me delete null first. Let me run without null first. Okay. Then my product name will come. Then my price will come. So my price and my product name and price both will be separated by hyphen. Okay. Product name and price will be separated by hyphen. So how many string I want to keep? I have to pass one by one separated by comma. And initially I have to pass my separator once. Right? Now see, now if I execute, now see, this is my product name and this is my price, and both is separated with hyphen. And in the same way, if I pass something else, suppose product ID, then I don't need to pass my separator again and again. I just mention my separator once, and all my column, I have to pass all my column with separated by comma only. That's it. Now if I execute, now see, product name, price, and product ID. So this is CONCAT WS. So without writing our separator again and again, we can pass our separator at the very beginning, and then we can pass all our string one by one. Now see, this is the first difference between CONCAT and CONCAT WS, that in case of CONCAT, we have to use my separator again and again, but in case of CONCAT WS, we didn't need to write our separator again and again. This is the first difference. The second difference is, in case of CONCAT, whenever any argument is null, then CONCAT cannot ignore this null. So my result will be null. Our result will be null. But in case of CONCAT, if we pass any argument as null, then simply CONCAT WS ignores this null, and it will give the same result as it is. Now if I execute, sorry, comma won't be there. Now if I execute, now see, I'm getting the same result. That means CONCAT WS simply ignores this null value, ignores this null arguments, and it will concatenate all the remaining string together, separated by this separator, right? So this is the main difference between CONCAT and CONCAT WS. In case of CONCAT, we have to pass all our separator one by one, But in case of concat WS, we have to pass our separator once in the very beginning. And the second difference is, in case of concat, if any argument is null, then concat cannot ignore that null, so our value will be null. But in case of concat WS, if any argument is null, then simply concat WS ignores this null and the value will come as it is. But always remember, if our separator is null itself, then our value will be null. Just remember, instead of using any other separator, if we use null as a separator, then our value will be null, right? This is one of the most important interview questions, so always remember. You might be asked to any interview. If you use null as a separator, then what would be our result? Always remember, in case of also concat WS, if we use null as a separator, then only our result will be null. Else, if null is in any of the arguments, then simply concat WS simply ignores that null and our result will be proper. So I hope you understand how concat and concat WS works and what are the difference and when we need to use what. Next we have left function. So basically left function is used to extract a specific number of characters from the left side, that is beginning of a string. Now suppose I have a name Martin. Now I want to extract first 3 letter or first 4 letter, anything from the left side, then I have to use left function. So to extract any specific number of characters from left side, that means from beginning of my string, then I have to use left function, right? And what is the structure of this left function? Now see, this is my name. Suppose I am to extract first 3 letters, then I have to write left, then I have to pass my string, comma, then how many characters I am to extract? Suppose 3. That's it. This is my structure. So basically I am extracting 3 characters, first 3 characters from left side, from beginning of my string. I am extracting 3 characters using this left function. This is my customer table. Now this is my customer name, right? This is my customer name column. Now I want to extract first 5 letters from each customer name. Okay, first 5 letters. That means from beginning of my customer name, I want to extract 5 characters. So for that, I have to write select customer name. I can pass my left function directly to this column, or I can take this column separately and create a separate virtual column. Left, then I have to pass my column name, that is customer name, and how many characters I am to extract? That is 5 characters, right? Now I am giving a name to this column, first 5 character name from customer table. So basically from this customer name column, I am extracting 5 characters from beginning, from left side, and I am giving a virtual column name, this one, and I'm just extracting. Now if I execute, now see, this is my customer name and this is my first 5 letters from each customer. Now remember, whenever you use left function, always remember space is also counted as character. Okay, space. Now see, I take 5 characters. So John, first one, JOHN, then space. So it is taking space as a character. So JOHN 4 character, then space is a 5th character. So always remember, in case of left clause, space also counted as a character within our string, right? Now see, if you check, from each name we have extracted first 5 characters from the left side. In the same way, if you take this product table, this is my product name. Now I am to extract my product name first 5 characters. Okay, from my product name, I want to extract first 5 characters from the left side. So for that, I have to write select product name left. Then here I have to pass my column name, product name, and how many characters I am to extract? That is 8. As first 8 character name. This is my name, name of my virtual column from product table. Now if I execute, now see, this is my product name, and from each product I just extracted first 8 character from the left side. Okay, from the left side first 8 character. Now see, NIKE 4 space is 5, M is 6, O is 7, N is 8. Now see, Nike space MON. So till 8 character, all the name has been extracted. Okay, till 8 character from the left side. So this is how left works. So basically, using left function, we extract any specific number of characters from our string from the left side. That means beginning of the string. Next we have right function. Right. The right function also works same as left function, but the difference is it extracts character from the right side of the string. Okay. In case of left, it extract from the left of the string, but in case of right, it extract the character from right of the string. Now, if I take the same example, and here I just pass right. Here I just pass last 8 character. Now see, now if I execute, now see, it extracting the 8 character from last. 1, 2, 3, 4, space is 5, L is 6, E is 7, D is 8. So it is starting from DEL space 1001. So basically it counts from the last, from the right of the string. It starts counting from the right of the string, then it will extract how many specific number you have mentioned. Right? So if I take customer table and take the same example, here I just mentioned right. This is last. Now if I execute, now see, it's extracting 5 characters from the right side of the string. That is end. Okay, that is end. So it is starting from here, H T I A M S space like this. So it will start counting from the last end of the string, right? So I hope you understand how left and right function works and what is the difference. So basically, using left, we extract any specific number of characters from left side. That means from beginning of the string, and using right, we extract any specific number of characters from the end. That means from the last of the string. Next, we have SUBSTRING function. The SUBSTRING function is used to extract a specific part of string. Specific part. Now see, using left, I am extracting my character from left side, that is beginning. Using right, I am extracting my characters from right side of the string. But suppose I want to extract any specific portion of the name. Suppose I want to get any specific part. Suppose I want to extract this name from VID space SMITH. Suppose I am trying to extract any specific part of a string. Then we have to use substring. Okay, we have to use substring. Substring. So what is the structure of substring? We have to write substring. Then we have to pass our string over here. Then we have to provide our start position. Okay. start position, and then we have to pass our length. That means, suppose here I just need to pass my string here, then I have to provide from which position I want to extract my string. Suppose I am to extract from V, then I have to provide 3. So this is the third position. From third position I want to extract my string, so I have to provide 3 over here. That is third position. And how many characters I want to extract from third position, that I have to mention over here. Okay, so this is the structure. Now I give you with example. Now this is my customer table. Now again I'm taking example from customer name column. Okay, so I have to write select customer name, then substring, then I have to pass my string, that means my column, that is customer name. Then I have to provide my position. Now suppose I am to extract my name from third position. Okay, third position. Then I have to write 3 over here. And how many characters I am to extract? Suppose 5 characters. So I just mention over here as sub character from customers table. Now if I execute, now see, John Smith, I am starting from third position. Third position. So what is the third position of this John Smith? John. H is the third position. J is 1, O is second, H is third. So it is starting from third. Then how many characters I want? That is 5 characters. So if you count from H is 1, N is 2, space is 3, S is 5, S is 4, and M is 5. So it is showing HN space SN. Right? I am starting from my third position. So it will count from the left and it will go till third position, 3. It will go till 3. So my third position is H. So it will start from H. Then it will count, it will extract next 5 characters. So it will count from here next 5 characters. So HN space SM. So it will count it as like this. In the same way, if you see Olivia Smith, now in case of Olivia, what is my third position? OLI. So it is starting from I. Then it will again count for another 5 characters. So IVIA space. So till space, it will be printed over here. So in this way, my extracting will happen. So basically, this is my start position from where I want to extract my string, and this is the number of characters, how many characters I want to extract. Right? Now if I take the example from product table, here also I have to write select product name, substring, my string is product name column. Then suppose I am to extract this from 8th position. I am to extract my string from 8th position, and I want to go next 5 characters. That means I am to extract my next 5 characters as sub character from product table. Now if I execute, now see, it will count what is the 8th position of my name. Now if you take the first example, NIKE space 5, 6, 7, 8. So N in monitor N is the 8th position. So the extracting will start from N and it will go next 5 characters. So NITOR 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? So it is showing as NITOR. In the same way, all the name gets extracted. Right? It will start extracting from 8th position and it will go till next 5 character. It will extract next 5 characters. Right? Now, if you just mention over here, if you instead of 8, if you write 1, that means I need to start from the first one. So it will extract my name from the very beginning. Now see, it is extracting my name from the very beginning, right? From the very beginning. As I mentioned 1, so it is starting from the first character, right? Substring also supports negative starting position, right? Now let me show how. Now suppose I'm taking the same example. Now see, here I have mentioned my customer name. This is the third position and this is the number of characters. So I have mentioned my position as positive number. Now suppose I want to extract from the last. Then I can use my negative starting point. Now suppose I mention -4. That means it will count from the last. It will count from the last and it will go till 4. Right? Now see. Now if I execute, now see, it start counting from the last. Then it will go till 4th position because I have mentioned 4. So it will go 4th position. As I have mentioned minus, so it is counting. It will start counting from the last, and it will go till 4. I have mentioned -4, so it will go till 4. But as it is negative, so it will start counting from the end. Right? Now see, THIHTIM. These are 4. If you take Johnson, NOSN, that is also 4. So basically, using negative starting position, we can extract our string from the last. Okay, from the last. So these are the different type of use cases of using substring function. So basically, using substring function, we can extract any specific portion of a string. Next, we have trim function, left trim function, and right trim function. Trim, LTRIM, and RTRIM. So basically, using trim, we remove unwanted spaces. Okay, unwanted spaces. So specifically for this trim, basically we use trim to remove the white spaces or unwanted spaces from both sides of a string, the beginning of the string and end of the string. Using left LTRIM, we remove the spaces from the left of a string, and using right trim, we remove the spaces from the right side of the string. Right? Now I give you the examples. Suppose I have a customer name. Like this. John Smith. This is my string John Smith, but in this string, before John Smith, we have an unwanted space, and after John Smith, we have an unwanted space. Now I have to remove this one. I have to remove this unwanted space. So for that, I have to write select trim. Using trim, we can remove extra spaces from both sides of a string. Right? As customer name, suppose. Now see, if I execute, now see, John Smith. There is no extra white spaces or extra spaces before John Smith or even after John Smith. Right? So basically, using trim, we can remove all the white spaces from beginning of our string and ending of our string from the both side. Now suppose we have another string. Suppose there is white space before my string, and then we have a string. Suppose wireless mouse. This is my string. Okay. Now I have to remove the white spaces before my string. So to remove any white spaces beginning of our string, we have to use LTRIM. LTRIM. Now we have to write select LTRIM as product name. Now see, now if I execute, now see, wireless mouse. Now basically using LTRIM, I just remove all the unwanted white spaces from the beginning of my string, right? In the same way, we have RTRIM. Select RTRIM. Now in case of RTRIM, where my unwanted spaces should be, that is end of the string, right? End of the string. Now suppose this is my string, gaming keyboard. Gaming keyboard. Now I have a unwanted space at the right side. That means at the end of the of my string. So using RTRIM, we can remove all the unwanted space at the end of my string as product name. Now if I execute, now see, it is gaming keyboard. That's it. So it removes all the white spaces, unwanted white spaces at the right side of my string. That is end of my string, right? So always remember, using trim, we can remove extra white spaces or unwanted white spaces from both sides of my string. Using LTRIM, we can remove our unwanted space from left side of my string, that is beginning of my string. And using right RTRIM, we can remove our white space from the right side of my string, that is end of my string. Next we have replace function. Replace function. So the replace function is used to replace all occurrence of a specified substring within a string with another substring. Now let me show. My structure is replace. Then first of all, I have to mention my string. Then here I have to provide my old string, which I want to replace. And then I have to provide my new string, by which I want to replace my old string. So this is my string. This is my old string. Which string I want to change? And this is my new string. Using this string, I want to replace my old string. So this is my structure of replace. That means using replace function, we replace all occurrence of specified substring. Specified substring means old substring, okay, with another substring, that is new substring. So basically, we replace our old string with new string. Now I show you with practical example. See, this is my customer table. So here I have customer name John space Smith, Olivia space Smith, so space. So I want to replace my space. I want to replace my space with hyphen. Okay, with hyphen. Now for that I have to write select customer name then I'm creating another column, virtual column, using my replace function. Replace, then I have to provide my string first. So what is the string? That is customer name column. Customer name column. Now my old string that I want to replace. So what I want to replace? That is space. I want to replace my space. Space, right? And then I have to put my new string. That means by which I want to replace this space? By hyphen. By hyphen, I want to replace my space. So in my customer name, I want to replace my space with a hyphen. That's it. Okay. As new customer name from customer Now if I execute, now see, John space Smith, it becomes John dash Smith. Oliver space Smith, now it becomes Oliver dash Smith. So all the space replaced by this hyphen. All the space, wherever my space is there in my customer name, that gets replaced with this hyphen. Right? So basically, I'm replacing my old substring with a new substring within a string using this replace function. Okay. So now I give you another example from product table. So this is my product table. Now in my product table, wherever this monitor word is there, I want to replace this monitor word with PC word. Okay, with PC. Now I want to replace this monitor. This is my old string. This is my entire string. This is my old string monitor. I want to replace with a new substring, that is PC. So wherever my monitor will occur, that will be replaced by PC. Okay. So now if I write select product name replace, my string is product name column. Then I am to replace what I am to replace, that is monitor. And by which I want to replace, that is PC. Has new product name from product table. Always remember, wherever this monitor word will occur, that will be replaced by PC. Okay, wherever this monitor word will be occur in my string, that will be replaced by PC. But those product name that do not contain this monitor word, that will remain unchanged. Okay, if monitor gets found, then that will replace by PC. If monitor word is not found, then that product name will remain unchanged. Okay, always remember. Now if I execute, now see, here Nike monitor model, so monitor gets replaced by PC. So here, now say in the second product, there is no monitor word, so it is as it is. It remains same. Okay. Here also there is no monitor word, so it is same as it is. Here also nothing monitor is there, so it remains same. So now if you try to find out, now see here G Pro monitor. So now see G Pro PC, this monitor got replaced by PC. Right? So in this way, wherever you got monitor, see here also monitor is there, so it got replaced by PC. So wherever my old substring will be found, that will be replaced by my new substring. But wherever this word is not found, that will remain unchanged. Okay. So all the product name that doesn't contain this monitor, that is remain unchanged. So this is how replace function works. So basically, using replace, we replace our old substring into a new substring. Next, we have reverse function. Reverse function. So the reverse function reverse the order of a character in a string. So basically, this is my string, so it just reverse all the character. Okay. So if I write select product name reverse, then I have to provide my column name as reverse product name. From products. So basically, it will reverse all the product name. It will reverse all the character of my product name. Okay. Now if I execute, now see, this is my product name. Now see, it's starting from end. So it reverse entire my product name. it reverse. If you see ASUS, it's become SUSA. So basically it just reversing all the character of my string. Okay. Now if I take from customer table, select customer name, reverse customer name column as reverse CM name from customers. So it will reverse all the customer name. Okay. It will reverse all the character of my customer name. Now if I execute, now see, this is my customer name, John Smith, Oliver Smith. Now basically it reverse all the character of my customer name. It reverse all the character of my customer name. So this is how reverse work. So basically to reverse all the character from my string, we need to use reverse function. Next we have locate and INSTR function. Okay, locate and INSTR. So basically both locate and INSTR are used to find the position of a first occurrence of a substring within a string. Suppose this is my customer name. Okay, now I am to find out what is the at which position this space is coming. My first space is coming. So if you have 2 or 3 spaces in your entire string, then it will find out the first occurrence of your space. At which position your first space is getting occurred. Okay, so basically it will find the position of the first occurrence of your substring. First occurrence, always remember. So both will work in the same way, but the only difference is order of the arguments. Okay, order of the arguments. Now for locate, our structure is first we have to pass our substring. First we have to pass our substring that we want to search for. Okay, and then we have to pass our string. And in case of INSTR, first we have to provide our string, then we have to provide our substring. That's it. So only difference is the order of the arguments, but they both provide the same result. Okay, they provide the same result. Now I give you the practical example. So this is my customer name. Now I want to find out the first occurrence of my space. Okay, at which position is my first space is getting occurred. So for that I have to write select customer name, then locate, then what I have to pass that is substring. So what I am to search for, that is space. Okay, and then I have to provide my string, that is customer name, as suppose space position from customers. Now if I execute, now see, in case of John Smith, now see, John, John, 4, then space is coming at 5th position, so it is showing 5. In case of Olivia, Olivia, then A, then space, now space is coming at 7th position, that is why it is showing as 7. In case of David, David, then space is coming, now space is at 6th position, so it is showing as 6. So wherever my first space is getting occurred, that position number will be printed over here. Now here, if instead of locate, if I use INSTR, then I have to just change my order. First I have to pass my string, then I have to pass my substring. That's it. Now if I execute, it will give me the same result. Now see, it is giving me the same result. So locate and INSTR works in the same way, but the difference is only the order of the argument. Okay, order of the argument. Now if I take our second table, product table, so this is my product table. Now suppose let's do one thing, let's try to find out the position of a mouse word in our name, okay, in our product name. Try to find out the mouse word, at which position my mouse word is occurring for first time. Okay, now for that I have to write select product name, locate what I am to locate, that is mouse word. Mouse. Then I have to provide my string, that is product name, as what position from product table. Now see, now if I execute, now see 0 0 0 0 means in this product name my mouse word is not getting found. Okay, my mouse word is not present in this name, so it is showing as 0. If the searching word is not present in my string, then it will show as 0. But wherever my word is present, now see here my word is present mouse. Then what is 10? 10 means at which position my mouse word is starting. At the first position of my mouse word will be printed. Now if you count, M is at 10 position. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, space is 9, then M is 10. So wherever my searching word will be found, the starting position of that word will be printed. Right? Now if you try to see any other way, see here 7. Now if you try to find out the first the starting position of this mouse word, now if you count APPLE 5, then space is 6, now M is 7. So the starting position of this word will be printed over here. Right? Wherever my searching word is not present, that will return as 0, and wherever this searching word will be found, the starting position of that word will be returned. Understand? So this is how locate and INSTR works. Now next we have LPAD and RPAD function. LPAD and RPAD. So basically LPAD and RPAD function are used to fill a string with specified character until it reaches a desired length. Okay. Now, for example, suppose I have a customer name John Smith. So how many characters is there? Now see, John is 4, space 5, and Smith is 5. So I have 10 characters. I have 10 characters in my name. Now my requirement is my customer name should have a length of 20 characters. Now if you count, my John Smith is my 10 character, but I want to make it 20 characters. Then how we can make it? We have to add a specific character either before my customer name or at the end of my customer name. Suppose I want to add a asterisk character before my customer name. Like this. Okay. So this is my John Smith. So before, if I am to add my asterisk before my name, then I have how many asterisk character I have to add? That is 10. Because John Smith is my 10, my requirement is 20 characters. So I have to add this asterisk character for 10 times. Now if you count, this is 10. I have 10 asterisk character and John Smith is 10. So it's become 20 characters. So to add this asterisk character before my string, before my customer name, we have to use LPAD. right? And in the same way, if I want to add this history, if I want to add this history at the end of my name, 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, 10 times I have added my 10 hashtag character for 10 times. Now if I am to add this as my specific character at the end of my string, then I have to use RPAD, right? So to reach our specific desired character, if we need to add my specific character before my string, then we have to use LPAD, and if we need to add after my string, then we have to use RPAD. Okay. Now I give you practical examples. So this is my customer name. Suppose I want to make my customer name length to 20 character. Okay. So for that, I have to write select customer name and I want to add my character before my name. So I need to use my LPAD. Here I have to provide my string, that is customer name. Then what is my required character? That is 20. And by which character I want to fill my string? That is string. That means in my customer name, I want to make my customer name length up to 20 character, and I want to fill with hashtag sign. And as I have used LPAD, so hashtag sign, hashtag character will be added before my customer name as padded CM name from customer. Now if I execute, now see, all the hashtag sign has been added before my name, and to make my each name up to 20 character, it added the hashtag sign accordingly. So in case of John Smith, it added 10 hashtag sign. In case of Olivia, it added 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 hashtag sign, because in Olivia Smith we have already 12 character, so it added 8 hashtag sign. So accordingly, to make my each customer name length 20, it's added all the hashtag sign before the name. Okay, because I have used LPAD. Now in the same way, if I use RPAD, so then my hashtag sign will be added at the end of my name. Now see, it's added the same hashtag sign, but it added at the end of the name because I have used RPAD. So I hope you understand what is LPAD and RPAD and how they works and how we can use this RPAD LPAD to make our string length up to a specific length. Next we have repeat function. So basically the repeat function is used to repeat a string a specified number of times. Now this is my customer name. If I want to repeat my customer name any specific number of times, then we can use this repeat function. Now let me show you. Suppose I want to repeat my customer name 3 times. So for that I have to write select customer name repeat what I am repeat, that is my string, that was customer name, and how many times I want to repeat, that is 3 times as repeated name. from customers. Now if I execute, now see, John Smith is getting repeated 3 times. John Smith, John Smith, John Smith. Olivia Smith, Olivia Smith, Olivia Smith, Olivia Smith. So whatever I have mentioned over here, that many times my name, customer name is getting repeated. So to repeat any string, up to a specific number of times, we can use repeat function. Now suppose I want to repeat hyphen. I want to repeat hyphen, and I want to repeat for 20 times. Okay, I want to just repeat my hyphen for 20 times and just write as separator. Now if I execute, now see, hyphen is getting repeated for 20 times. So to repeat any string, up to a specific number of times, we can use our repeat function. So we have completed our entire string function. We have seen different type of string function with multiple examples, how they works, and I hope you understand it properly. But still, if you have any doubt, then you can ask me in comment. Now let's start with our next SQL function, that is numeric function. Numeric function are used to perform mathematical calculation on numeric values. We have different type of numeric functions. Now let's see all of them one by one. So first let's start with round function. So basically round function is used to round a number to a nearest value. Okay, to round a number to nearest value. Now what type of nearest value? The first one is the whole number. Second one is specific number of decimal places. And the third one is tens or thousands or 100 by using negative decimal places. So round is basically used to round a number to the nearest value. Now how you can round the number? The first one is to make it the whole number. Right? Second one is you can round a number to a specific number of decimal places. And the third one is you can round a number to tens, 100 or 1000 by using a negative decimal places. Right? Now see one by one all the different type of examples. For the syntax for making our number to whole number, the syntax is round and then you have to pass your number. This is the syntax. Okay. So let's get examples. Now suppose we want to round few numbers. So for that we have to write our SQL command. So you have to start with select. Then we have to write round. And within this parenthesis, we have to provide our number. Suppose we want to round 25.99 as rounded number. Now if I execute this one, now see, it's become 26. 25.99 it's become 26. It's rounded our number. It's basically rounded our number and make it a whole number, that is 26. Now in the same way, if we take another example, now here 89.49. Now if I execute this one, now see, it's become 89. Always remember, if my decimal places is 0.5 or more, then it will round my number in upward direction. And if my decimal number is below 0.5, then it will go downwards direction. That is why this 24.99, this number 0.99 is greater than 0.5. That is why it is going to upward direction. And this number, it will be rounded to the nearest whole number. And what is the nearest whole number in upwards direction? That is 26, right? So my answer is 26. In the same way, 89.49, this 49 is greater than 0.5, so it will go downward direction, and it will be rounded as the nearest whole number in downward direction. And what is the nearest whole number in downward direction? That is 89, right? In the same way, if we take another example, 30.50, then what will be the answer? Now see, this is 50. That means I told you 50.5 or more. 0.5 or more. If my decimal place is 0.5 or more, then it will go upward direction. And it will be rounded to the nearest whole number in upward direction. So basically the answer would be 31. Now if I execute, now see, my answer is 31, right? Next we have specific number of decimal places. So the syntax is round. Then here I have to pass my number, comma, I have to place my decimal places number. This is my format. So this is my number, and how many decimal places I want, that I need to mention about that. So now if I take example, suppose 25.15687. Now there are 5 numbers in decimal places. Now I want 2 decimal places number. So I just mentioned 2. Now if I execute, now see, it is become 25.16. I want 2 decimal places, so it picks up 2 decimal places, 1, 5, and the third one is 6. So automatically the 5 becomes 6. Okay, so it become 2 decimal places. Now in the same way, if I take 35.4582 and I want single decimal number. Now see, 35.5. Okay, 35.5. So you notice I have single decimal places in my number. So in this way, you can take any specific number of decimals from your number using this round function. Next we have 10, 100, 1000 by using negative decimal places. Here my syntax is round, then number, comma, minus any number. This is my syntax. Suppose we have a number. I am taking this same type of example. Suppose we have a number 1568. Now see, this is my whole number. There is no decimal places. Now if I want to round this number to nearest 10, okay, nearest 10, then I have to mention minus 1. Minus 1 means nearest 10. Minus 2 means nearest 100, and minus 3 means nearest 1000. Okay. So as this is above 50, so it will go upwards direction. Okay. So in upward direction, what is the nearest tens? What is the nearest tens of 1568? That is 1570. Now if I execute, now see 1570. because nearest tens of 1568 is 1570 in upward direction. Always remember, as 1568 I have 68, it is greater than 50. If it is 1550, if it is 1550 or above, then it will go upward direction, and if it is less than 1550, then it will go downward direction. As it is more than 50, so it will go upwards, and in upward side I have mentioned -1, that means tens. So what is the nearest tens? That is 1570. In the same way, if I take -2, that means 100. So in upward direction, what is the nearest 100? That is 1600. Now if I execute, now see 1600. Okay, that is in 100. And if I mention 3, that means 1000. Then in upward direction, what is the nearest 1000 of this 1568? That is 2000. Now see, I'm getting 2000. In the same way, if we take another number, suppose 1432. Now this is below 50. So in this case, it will go downward direction. So in downward direction, in 1000 place, what is the nearest whole number? What is the nearest whole number? That is 1000. Now if I execute, now see, it's become 1000. Now if I take -2, that means nearest 100. So what is the nearest 100 of 1432? Now see, 1400 in downward direction, right? Now if I take -1, that means in tens. So what is the nearest tens value in downward direction? That is 1430. Now if I execute, now see 1430, right? So this is how this sound function can be used in different way. Either we can round our any decimal number to a nearest whole number. We can use our round function to make any decimal number up to a specific number of decimal places number. And another is we can make any number, any whole number to its nearest 10, 100 or 1000 decimal places number, right? Next function that we have, that is CEIL. CEIL function. So basically the CEIL function returns the smallest integer that is greater than or equal to a given number. So basically it always round a number upwards to the nearest integer. Now for example, if we take example for select CEIL, and here my syntax is CEIL, and then we have to provide number. Now select CEIL. Suppose I am taking a number 25.10 as ceiling number. In the same way, I am taking another example as well. Suppose here I am taking 89.01. Here I am taking suppose 34.99. Now see, now if I execute this one 25.10, now see, it's become 26. Always remember, in case of ceiling, it will go always upwards. It doesn't matter whether in decimal places, what is your value in decimal places. Always it will go to upward direction. So in upward direction, what is the nearest whole number of 25.10? That is 26. In the same way, we have 89.01. See, 01. Okay, 89.01. So in upward direction, what is the nearest whole number? See, 90. Okay, always it will go to upward direction. In 34.99, it will be 35. Right? So in case of ceiling, it will go always upwards direction, and it will go to the nearest. It will round the number to the nearest whole number in upward direction, right? In case of a round, whether it will go upward direction or downward direction, it was depend on this decimal places number, right? But in case of CEIL, it doesn't matter. In case of CEIL, always it will go to upward direction. Now, if you see a few more examples like this, suppose we want to divide some number with 10. Suppose we have 23 divided by 10. We have 10 divided by 10. We have 41 divided by 10. Now, first you think what would be our answer. Now, if I execute this one, now see 23 by 10, that means 2.3, right? 2.3. And what is the nearest value upward direction? In upward direction, what is the nearest value of 2.3? That is 3, right? 3. So, our answer would be 3. Now, see 3. 10 by 10, that means 1. So, what is the nearest value in upward direction? That is 1 itself. Now, see 1 itself. 41 by 10, that means 4.1. So, 4.1 in upward direction, what is the nearest value for 4.1? That is 5. Now, if I execute, now see, I am getting 5. Right? Now, if I take another example of negative number. Now, let's think about it. Now, suppose I am taking 25 minus 25.75 as ceiling number. Now, tell me what will be the result. So, this is my 25.75. So, in case of CEIL always go to upwards. That means our final value always will be greater than this number, right? So, what is the nearest integer value of minus 25.75? Now, see, if I execute, it will be minus 25 because minus 25 is greater than minus 25.75. CEIL always will go to the upward direction. Always remember, CEIL will go to the upward direction. So, our final result will always be greater than of this number. Always greater than of this number. So, in case of CEIL minus 25.75, it will also give me the number which is greater than this number. So, what is the greater than of this number? Nearest integer value of this number which is greater than this number, that is minus 25. Right? So, this is how our CEIL works. In the same way, we have next function that is called floor. That is called floor. Floor just works just opposite of CEIL. CEIL always go to the upward direction. Floor always go to the downward direction. That's it. This is the only difference between CEIL and floor. Rest are same. Now, if I take this same example, now here I have to mention floor. Let me change. Now see. Now in case of floor, I have taken 25.10. Now in case of floor, it will go always downward direction. So what is the in case of downward direction? What is the nearest integer number, whole number of 25.10? That is 25. Now see, it's become 25. In case of 89.01, what is the nearest integer number, whole number in downward direction? That is 81. So now 81. 89. Sorry, 89. In case of 34.99, what is the nearest integer number in downward direction? That is 34. See, 34. Right? In the same way, in case of this 23 by 10, that means 2.3. So, in downward direction, 2.3. What will be our number? That is 2. Now, see, 2. This is as it is 1, and this is 4.41 by 10, that means 4.1. So in downward direction it will be 4. And here in case of minus 25.75, it will give me a number which is less than this number, because this is floor. So what is the nearest integer number which is less than this number? That is minus 26. Now if I execute, now see, this is minus 26. So this is the only difference between CEIL and floor. In case of CEIL, it will always go to the upward direction, and in case of floor, it will always go to the downward direction. Next function we have, that is absolute. That is ABS function. It is absolute function. So basically, absolute function returns the absolute. That means positive value of a number. If our provided number is positive, then it will remain unchanged. If our provided number is negative, then the negative sign will be removed, and I will get only the number. And if the provided number is 0, then we'll get the 0 as a return. So now if I give you an example, select ABS, that means absolute. Now if I pass over here any negative number, suppose 250 as absolute number. Now see, I have mentioned minus 250. So to make this number absolute number, just it will remove our negative sign, and it will give our answer as 250. Now if I execute, now see, I am getting 250. Now if I mention only 250, then it will remain unchanged, 250. Now if we mention any decimal place number over here with negative sign, suppose 125.95, that also will work. Now it will also remove this negative sign, and it will give me the answer as 125.95. See, 125.95, right? Now let me show some another example. Suppose we have 125 minus 100. Then what would be our answer? 125 minus 100, that means 25. So it will give me 25, right? Now if I write only 25 minus 100, then what would be my answer? 25 minus 100 means minus 75. Now as I used absolute, so it will remove my negative sign, and it will give me the answer only 75. Now 75. Now if we mention 25.5, then what would be my answer? Now here it would be 74 minus 74.5. So our answer would be 74.5. Now see, 74.5. So always remember, in case of absolute, if we provide any negative number, then our negative sign will be removed only. If our number is positive, then it will remain unchanged, and if our number is 0, then it will return 0. That's it. So absolute is basically used to return any positive value of a number. Next we have mod function. So basically in mod function, it returns the remainder after dividing one number by another. Okay. Our syntax is mod number 1 comma number 2. That means this number divided by this number. We also use mod like this. This is the another syntax. We can use something number 1, this percentage sign, then number 2, right? And the third way is we can use number 1 mod number 2. So you can use any of them. So these three will return the same value. So now if I give you the example, suppose select mod, we have suppose 2 comma 2, as module. Now if we divide 2 by 2, then what will be our remainder? That is 0. So we will get 0. Now if we divide 3 by 2, then what will be the remainder? 1, right? Now see, 1. Again, if we divide 4 by 2, then what will be the remainder? 0. Now see, 0. Now suppose we have 450 divided by 100. Then what will be the remainder? 50, right? 50. Now see, 50. Now if we write 875 divided by 100, then our remainder would be 75. So our answer would be 75. Now if we use the same example with percentage and MOD, now see, if I write 875 percentage 100 like this, now if I execute, now see, I'm getting the same result, right? I'm getting the same result. In the same way, if I write select 875 MOD 100, then also it will give me the same answer, right? 75. So we can use our mod either in this syntax, or in this syntax, or in this syntax. All of them will give me the same result. So these are, we can use our mod function. So basically mod function will give me the remainder after dividing one number with another number, right? Next we have power function. Power function. So basically the power function returns a number raised by specified power, which is basically exponent, right? So our syntax is power, then we have to mention power, then we have to mention our base number, then we have to mention our exponent. Right? This is my syntax. First we have to write our base number, then we have to mention our exponent. Now if I give you the example, select power, I'm taking my base number as 25 and exponent 2 as POW, right? That means this is my base number, that is 25, and exponent is 2, that means 25 square. I am just calculating 25 square. This is my exponent, this is my base value, that is 25, and this is my exponent value, that means 25 square. What will be the answer of 25 square? That is 625, right? Now if I execute, now see, I'm getting 625. So now if I want to get 89, square of 89, okay, square of 89. Now if I execute, now see, 7921. In the same way, if we write 5, 2, that means we want to get square of 5. Now if I execute, now see, I'm getting 25, right? In the same way, if we want to get cube, that means 5 to the power 3. Now if I execute, now see, 125. 5 to the power 3 means 125. In the same way, if we write 10 to the power 3, now if I execute, now see, 1000. So this is how you can take any exponent value and any base value. Now here we also take negative exponent as well, right? Now if we take suppose 2 to the power minus 3, now what will be my answer? Now see, 0.125. So if you know 2 to the power minus 3 means 1 by 2 to the power 3. 1 by 2 to the power 3, that means 1 by 2 to the power 3 means 8, and 1 by 8 means 0.125. Understand? 2 to the power minus 3 means 1 by 2 to the power 3. So 2 to the power 3 means 8. So I just write 1 by 8, and if you divide 1 by 8, then it will get the answer 0.125. So this is why we are getting this result 0.125 after executing this command. Next we have square root function. So the square root function returns the square root of a non-negative number. Always remember, in square root always used with non-negative number only. So our syntax is square root, and here you have to pass your number. Now if I give example, select square root of 25 as SQRT. So what is the square root of 25? That is 5. Now if I execute, now see, I am getting 5. Now in the same way, if I write square root of 625, then I am getting 25. Now see, 25. Right? Now if we write any number like 20, now see, since 20 is not a perfect square, so my square returns and approximately decimal values. Now if we pass 0, then it will give me it result as 0. And always remember, as I told you, square root always works with non-negative number only. So if we write, suppose any number 16 or minus 16, then it will return as null. Now see, it is written as null. If we write only 16, then it will give me answer as 4, because square root of 16 is 4. But if I write minus 16, so it's become negative number, then square root will not work with negative number. So it will return as null. So I hope you understand. This is square root. Basically, we find out the square root of any number. Next function we have, that is rand. That means random. So basically, the rand function generates a random floating points number between 0 and 1. Always remember, 0 and 1, and 0 is inclusive and 1 is exclusive. So it will always generate random number between 0 less than equal to and less than 1. That means this random number, any random number that will generate, that always lies between 0 to 1, and 0 is exclusive, so it is less than or equal to 0, and 1 is exclusive. That is why it is less than 1. Right? Now our syntax is, you just mention rand, and it will generate any random number between 0 to 1. And another syntax is rand, and here you have to pass any seed. So basically, we use seed to generate a repeatable random number. If we don't pass any seed, then it will generate any random number. But if we want to generate a repeatable random number, then we have to provide any seeds. Now I show you with example. Suppose write select rand as random number. Now if I execute, now see, it is generating this random number. Now again, if I execute the same query, then it will generate another random number. Now see, it is generating another random number. Again, if I execute the same query, then again it will generate another random number. So as long as you execute your same code, it will generate different type of random numbers between 0 to 1. It always lies between 0 to 1. And if you want to generate a repeatable random number, then you have to write select rand. Suppose I just mention 100 as random number. Now see, Now if I execute, it is generating this number, right? But now if I again execute this query, then again it will generate the same random number. Now see, it is generating same random number. This number, this rand, as long as I execute this query, it will generate different type of random number. But whenever I used any seed value with this rand function, then it will generate a repeatable random number. So as long as you execute this same code, you will get same random number. Now see, as long as you execute your same code, you will get the same random number, because I have used one seed over here. Now if I write 200, then now it will generate one random number. Now see, this is another random number. Now again if I execute the same query, it will again generate the same random number. Now see, you understand? So if you want to get any random number between 0 to 1, then we just use rand, so it will create any random number. But if you want to generate any repeatable random number, then we have to use seed along with this rand function, right? So these are my different type of numeric function. Those are used to perform any mathematical calculation on our numeric value. Next SQL function that we will discuss about, that is date and time function. So in date time function, we have different type of function like current date, current time, now, year, month, everything. Now let's understand everything one by one. So first one is current date. So this current date function returns the current date according to the MySQL server session time zone. Okay, it will return the current date according to the MySQL server session time zone. Now the format is, whenever you use this current date, then whatever result you will get, the format will be like this: y, that is year, month, and date. This is the format. In this format, your output will be given, right? Now if you write select current date let me write as today date. Now if I execute, now see, it is giving me our current date, that is 18th of July 2026, right? So it will fetch the current date only. Now if you consider any table, suppose order table, this is my order table. Now let's take one column, that is order date. Okay, order date and current date. So for that we have to write select order date. This is the first column. Then the second column is current date as to the date from order table. Now if I execute, now see, this is my order date that is stored in my table, and this is my current date, right? This is my current date, that is today date, right? All the row is having the same date because today is my same day. So this is how we can use this current date function in order to retrieve our current date. Next we have current time. In current date it returns our current date, but in current time it returns our current time, right? Current time. So if I write same thing, select current time as today time. Now if I execute, now see, it is retrieving our current time, and the syntax is, our syntax is hour, minute, and second. Okay. So when I execute this one, it will be giving me the output as hour, minute, and second. Right. Next thing that we have, that is FSP. FSP means fractional second precision. Now here, this is my current time. So FSP is optional. FSP. So basically FSP is used to get any fractional second value. Here see, I am using current time only. We have not passed any FSP, so it is giving me hour, minute, and second. But if you want to get any fractional second value, then we have to use FSP. And FSP value always lies between 0 to 6. So MySQL allows FSP value from 0 to 6. So between 0 to 6, whatever value you will put in this FSP, that many digits fractional second you will get in your answer. Now see, if I write over here 3, here till now I am using current time, so it is giving me hour, minute, second. Now I am mentioning 3. That means I want to get my fraction of second, that means millisecond, and that has to be in 3 digit. Okay. Now if I execute, now see, the time is same, hour, minute, and second. Now I'm getting another 3 digit millisecond. In the same way, if I write 2, then I will get 2 digit millisecond. Now see, hour, minute, second, and this is my 2 digit millisecond. So using current time, we can get our current time, and this is my FSP is optional. And if you want to get extended time stamp, including my millisecond, then we have to use this FSP, right? And if you want to get your time, if you want to get your current time in a numeric format, then what you can do? Now see, this is my normal time structure, hour, colon, minute, colon, second. Now if I want to get my output as a numeric format, then just I have to write plus 0. Plus 0. So it will make my output in a numeric format. Now if I execute, now see, it's become numeric format 18, 18, 37. It removes all the colon and it makes our output as numeric format. Next function we have, that is now. Now, the now function returns the current date and current time according to MySQL server session title. So basically, now is basically combining this current date and current time. Is basically is the whatever output is given by this now, it will basically a combination of current date and current time. Now see, if I write select now as today date. Now if I execute, now see, I am giving my current date and current time both. Using current date, we can get only our date, and using current time, we get only our time. But using now, we get this current time and current date together, right? So if you want to combine your current date and current time, then you can use now function directly. Now in the same way, you can use one FSP over here as well. If you want to get another extended version of your time, that means if you want to include your millisecond as well, then again you can use your FSP over here. Now if I write 3, now see, I'm getting date, time, including my millisecond. Now again if I write 2, now see, date, time, and my time is including millisecond, and this is my 2 digit. Okay, 2 digit. So this is now function. So using now function, we can combine our current date and current time together. Now I give you one example. By combining these 3 together, then you will get the clear picture. Now see, select, first one is current date as current date. Second one is current time as as current time, and the third one is now as current date time. Now if I execute, okay, let me do one thing. Let me change the name. Now if I execute, now see, when I'm using current date, then I'm getting my current date. When I'm using current time, then I'm getting my current time. And when I'm using now, then I'm getting my current date and current time together. Now here, if you use any FSP over here, suppose 2, then 2 digit millisecond is added over here. Now if you add FSP now, then 3 digit millisecond is getting added over here, right? So this is the example of combining 3 examples, that is current date, current time, and now. Next we have next function that we have, that is year function. Next function we have year. So year function basically extract the year from a date. A year function extract the year part only from a date. The format is year, and within this parenthesis you pass your date. This is the format. Okay. Now let me do one thing. This is my order table. So let me extract this year from this order table. Okay. So for that I have to write select. Suppose I am taking this column first, order date, year. I am just trying to extract the year from which column? That is order date column. As order year from order table. Now if I execute, now see, this is my current order date in my table, and this is my order year. So basically it extracting the year only from all the date. So whatever year is present in my order date, that has been extracted over here. So basically using year, we extract only year from a date, right? As my all data is having only 2024, so it is showing 2024 only. Now if I give you another example, select year, and here I just pass one date, suppose 2026 0710 as year. So what will happen? It will basically extract this year only, this year portion only. Now if I execute, it will give me the answer as 2026. So basically from this date, it is extracting only year portion. Okay. So using year, we extract our year from a date. Next we have month. So months also do the same thing. In year, it extract the year. In month, it extract only month, this month. Now if I take the same example, now here I just mentioned month. Now see, now if I execute, now see, this is my order date, and it is extracting all the month from each row. Now see, 1, the month is 1, so it is 1. Now if you have, now see, the month is 2, so it is extracting 2, right? So basically using month, we extract our month portion from a date. Now if I give you the same example with month function, now see month, that means it will extract this month portion only, that means 07. Now if I execute, now see, it is giving me as 7, right? In the same way, next we have day. Day also do the same thing. It extract the day portion from a date. Now if I take the same example, now here I just mentioned day, and here also I just mentioned day. So first if I execute this one, this is my order date, and see, this is my day. This is the first day, second day, third day, fourth day. So accordingly, whatever date we have in our date, that has been extracted over here, right? Now if I execute this query, so my day is 10, so it will execute it as 10. Now see, my answer is 10. So I hope you understand. Using year, we extract our year portion from a date, only year portion from a date. Using month, we extract our month portion from a date, and using day, we extract our day portion of a date, right? Next function that we have, that is DAYNAME. DAYNAME function. So basically, DAYNAME function returns the weekday name from a date. So our format is DAYNAME, and here we need to pass our date. That's it. So it will extract our weekday name. Okay, weekday name. Always remember, it extract the weekday name only. Now if I execute, select. Let me take this example. So here I just need to mention DAYNAME. This is my order date column, and I'm extracting the day name from my date. This is my day name. Now if I execute, now see, this is my order date, and all the date is having its own day name. Now see, 1st of January 2024 was Monday, so it is showing Monday. 1st of it is also the same date. Now this is the 2nd of January 2024, it was Tuesday, so and so on. So it's basically extract the day name from my date. Now if you want to extract the day name of 2 days, then we can write something like this. Select, we need to find out our day name, and from which date I want to get my day name, from current date. So I can use my current date, right, as today day name. Now if I execute, sorry, CUR. Now if I execute, now see, today is Saturday, so it is showing Saturday. So basically using current date, I am extracting my today's date, and using this day name, from today's date, I am extracting our day name only, right? So basically using current date, we are retrieving today's date, and then using date name, we are extracting the day name of today's date, right? Next we have month name. Month name also works in the same way as day name works. Day name basically gives the day name from our date, and month name will give us the month name from our date. So now if I execute the same examples, now here I just mentioned month name. Now if I execute this one, now see, this is my order date, and this is the corresponding month name. So in this date, this is the January month, so it is showing January. In the same way, when it goes to the 02, that means February, it will show as February. Now see, this is my 02, so it's showing as February, right? So whatever month is present in our date, that month name will be printed using this month name function. This would be month name, right? Now hey, again, if I execute this one, so okay, let me check month name. Today, month. So it will basically retrieve our current date and it will give me the month name from this current date. So now if I execute, now see, it is showing July. It is showing July. So using day name, we retrieve our day name from our date, and using month name, we retrieve our month name from our date. Next function that we have, that is DATEDIFF. DATEDIFF, that means date difference. So basically the date difference function returns the difference in days between 2 days. It will basically give me the difference between 2 days. And the format is DATEDIFF. Then you have to pass your date 1, comma date 2. This is my date 1 is my ending date. Always remember, date 1 has to be ending date and date 2 has to be your starting date, right? And the result might be positive, negative or 0, whatever it is. Now if I give you example, suppose let me take order table. Now this is my order date column. Now I want to get the date difference between order date and today. So for that I have to write select. Let me take this order date table first. Order date. And then I'm taking DATEDIFF. And here I have to pass my, first I have to pass my ending date. So what is my ending date? That is current date. Current date. And what is my starting date? That is order date. Order date. As days since order from order table. So basically I am trying to find out the date difference between today and my order date for each order. Now if I execute, now see, the difference between today and the order date is 929 days. 929 days. 928 days, 927 days, and so on. So these are difference between today and my order date in my order table. Now if I show you some other example, select DATEDIFF. Now let me take my ending date. First ending date. Suppose this is 2026 0718. And my starting date is 2026 0701 as total date. So what is the difference between 18th and 1st of July month? Now see, 17 days. If you count from 1st of July to 18th of July, it is 17 days. So it is showing as 17 days. Now suppose your first date is earlier than your second date. Then what will happen? Select DATEDIFF. My first date is earlier than my second date. So my first date is 2026 0701 and my second date is The starting date is 2026-07-18. As total day. Now if I execute, now see, it is giving me as minus 17 because my first day is earlier than my second date, right? So it is giving me minus. So I told you in DATEDIFF we can have positive value, negative value, and zero value as well. Next we have DATEAD function. DATEAD function. So the DATEAD function basically adds a specified interval to a date. Okay, specified interval to a date or date type, whatever. So basically the syntax is date add. Now here first of all you have to mention your date, then you have to write interval. You have to write interval. Then you have to provide your value. How many interval you want, that has to be mentioned over here as a value. Then you have to mention the unit. Unit means whether you want to add year, month, day, hour, minute, second, whatever you want to add in your date, that unit you have to mention over here. So units are whether it can be day, month, year, hour, minute, second. So these are the unit. So whatever unit you want to add, you just mention over here. So this is my date. Here you have to write interval. Then you have to provide value, how much interval you want that you have to mention over here, and this is the unit. Whatever unit you want to add. So this is my syntax. Now let's take example. Suppose I want to add 30 days to my let's take one example, order date. Okay. Now I want to add 30 days to my order date. Now for that I have to write, select, let's take this column first, order date. Then I have to write date add. Then first of all I have to mention my date. Date means my order date column. Then I have to write interval. Then I have to put my value, that is 30, and I want 30 days. So I have to mention day. That means I am adding 30. I am adding 30 day with my order date. Now from orders. Now if I execute, now see, this is the 1st of January 2024. Now if we add 30 days, now it's become 31st of January 2024, right? In the same way, if you take another example, suppose this is my 10th of January 2024. Now if you add 30, then it's become 9th of February 2024. Okay, so basically using date add, I'm adding 30 days with my order date, right? Now suppose we want to add 2 month, then as a value we have to mention 2, and as a unit we have to mention month. Now if I execute, now see, the 1st January 2024. Now if you add 2 month with each date, then it's become 1st of March 2024. Now in the same way, now this is 14th of January 2024. Now it's become 14th of March 2024. So basically it's adding 2 months to each order date. Now if I want to add 1 year, suppose 1 year, right? As a unit I mentioned year, and I want to add 1 year. So I just mention 1 as value. Now if I execute, now see, Initially it was 2024, now it's become 25, 24, 25. So it's basically adding 1 year with each date, each order date. Now in the same way, you can add hour as well. Suppose I want to add 10 hour. Now if I execute, now see, it was 13, now it's become 23. It was 9, it's become 19. Now if I want to add minute, now see, it was 00 in minute, it was 00 and it is become 10. It was 00 17 hours 00 minute is become 17 hours 10 minutes. In the same way, you can add second as well. Now if I execute, now see, it was 00, it's become 10. It was 00, it become 10 seconds. Right? So basically using this DATEDIFF function, we add a specified interval to our date. Next function that we have, that is DATESUB. In DATEAD, we add a specified interval to our date. In DATESUB, we subtract a specified interval from our date. Just opposite of DATEAD. DATESUB basically subtract the specified interval from our date. Now if I take the same example, now here I have to mention DATESUB. And suppose 30 days. I want to subtract 30 days from my date. Now if I execute, now see, it was 1st of January 2024. Now if you subtract 30 days from this date, then it's become 2nd of December 2023. Basically it is subtracting. This is 3rd of January 2024. Now it's become 4th of December 2024. Now if I go to next month, suppose this is my 12th of February 2024. Now it's become 13th of January 2024. So it's basically subtracting 1 month and it's going to back in 30 days interval. Now if I write 2 months, that means basically I am subtracting 2 months from my date. Now if I execute, now see, it was January 2024, so it's become November of 2023. Now this is my February of 2024, it's become December of 2023. So it's basically subtracting 2 months. Now if I mention over here year, that means I'm subtracting 2 years from my date. Now if I execute, now see, it is 2024. When I'm subtracting 2 years, then it's become 2022. So all the date that is having 2024 is become 2022. In the same way, you can use second, minute, hour, everything as it is. As we have used over here in DATEAD, in the same way you can use in DATESUB as well. So using DATEAD, we add a specific interval to our date, and using DATESUB, we subtract any specified interval from our date. This is the only difference between DATEAD and DATESUB. Next function that we have, that is timestamp_diff. Basically, the timestamp_diff function returns the difference between two dates or date time in a specified format. That means specified unit. And the syntax is timestamp_diff. Here, first of all, you have to provide unit. In which unit you want. That means year, month, day, hour, seconds, minute, whatever it is. Then you have to provide start date, then end date. Okay, this is the format. First of all, you have to provide your unit, that means year, month, whatever it is. Then you have to provide your start date. Then you have to provide your end date. Now to see the example, let me take one table. Suppose employee table. So in our table we have hire date. Now let's calculate the experience in year. Okay. So I want to get experience. How many years experience each employee have as of today? So for that I have to write select employee ID hire date, and here I have to mention my timestamp difference. Now first of all I have to mention over here the unit. Suppose I want year, so I have to mention year. I want my expense in year, so I have to provide year. Then I have to provide my first date, that means start date, that is my hire date. And then I have to provide my end date. So I want to compare with my current date, so I have to mention current date as experience year from employee. Now see, now if I execute, now see, this is my employee, and this is the hire date. And if you calculate from today, it's become 11 years. So basically I'm trying to find out the year difference between today and this hire date, right? Now if I take the another table, so the order table. So this is my order date. So let's calculate the order age in month. So for that I have to write select order ID order date, and here I have to mention my timestamp difference. And first of all I have to mention my unit, that is month. I want my order age in month, so I just mention month. Then here I have to mention my start date, that means order date, and end date, that means today, that means current date. As month since order from order tables. Now if I execute, now see, this is the difference in month. This is the difference in month between today and this order date for each product. Okay. In the same way, if you mention over here day, then it will give you the difference in day. Now see, this is the difference in days between today and current, this order date. In the same way, you can use hour. Now see, this is the difference in hour, minute. See, okay, and second as well. So any unit you can use along with this timestamp diff. Okay. So this timestamp diff, basically this function is basically used to get the difference between two dates in any units. Okay, in any units, whatever you want based on your requirement. Now you might be thinking date diff. We have already learned date diff. Date diff function also gives the difference in date, and time stamp diff also give us the difference between dates. Then when we need to use what? So always remember, use DATEDIFF. Use DATEDIFF when you only need the difference in days. Whenever you want only the difference in days, then only you can use DATEDIFF. And use timestamp diff when you need the difference in specific unit, such as year, month, hour, minute, like this. So whenever you want the difference in a specific unit, then you have to use this timestamp diff. But if you want the difference between in days only, then you can use DATEDIFF function directly, right? Now we will see our next SQL function, that is null handling function. So a null value means the data is missing, unknown, or not available. It is not the same as 0 or any empty string, right? So MySQL basically provides different type of null handling function like IFNULL, NULLIF, COALESCE, on all these things. So let's see all of them one by one. First is IFNULL. IFNULL is basically this IFNULL function checks whether an expression is null or not. Now our syntax is IFNULL expression, comma, replacement value. Now see, basically IFNULL checks whether this expression is true or not. If it is having any value in this expression, then it will return this expression value. But if this value is null, then it will return this replacement value. Like suppose if we write 100, 0, if null 100, 0, that means this 100 is my expression, so 100 is not null, so it will return as 100. It will return as 100. But if you write if null, null, 0, that means my expression is null, so it will return 0. So using if null, we check whether our expression is null or not. If it is null, then it will return this replacement value. If it is not null, then it will return this expression itself, right? Now let's see the example. Now we write select if null, this value 100, and we write any replacement value. Suppose value is there. We just pass a string as result. Now see, my expression is having a proper value, so it will return this value. Now see, my result is 100. That means it is returning this expression value itself, right? Now if I write null, value is not there. Now see, now my expression is null, so it will return this replacement value. Now if I execute, now see, my output is value is not there. That means it is returning this replacement value. So if my expression is having its own value, then it will return this expression, and if this expression is null, then it will return this replacement value. Now if I take one example from this employee table. Now see, in my employee table, my manager ID is null for this 10 rows. My manager ID is null, right? Now if I write select manager ID and if null, my expression is manager ID my replacement value is 0 as manager from employee table. Now see, Try to understand. If null, my expression is manager ID. And my replacement value is 0. That means when this execution will pass with this record, then my expression value will be null over here, right? In that case, my return on this record will be 0 because this value becomes null. So my return will be 0. In the same way, this record also, when this value, this manager ID will come over here, then my expression becomes null, and automatically as a result, this replacement value, that is 0, will be returned over here. Now, when this record will come, now this manager ID, this one will come over here as an expression. Now, whenever my expression is valid, then it will return 1 as it is. It will not return this replacement value, right? Now see, now if I execute, now see, wherever my manager ID was null, it becomes 0 because this null value gets stored here initially, then automatically my replacement value get returned. In the same way, this 10 record has been returned as 0. But whenever my expression is having a proper value, then it is returning the same value as it is, right? It is not returning the replacement value. So whenever my expression becomes null, that means this null, then it will return this returning value, that means 0. But whenever my expression is having a proper number, proper value, then it will return the same expression value as it is, right? So to replace any null value, with a specified replacement value, we have to use this IFNULL function, right? Next function that we have, that is NULLIF. So our NULLIF expression is NULLIF expression 1, expression 2. So basically, NULLIF function compares two expression 1 and expression 2. If both expressions are equal, then it will run null. Always remember, if this expression and this expression both are equal, then it will return null. But if they are different, then it will return the first expression. For example, if we write NULLIF, if I mention 100, 100, so both expressions are equal, so it will return as null. But if we mention IFNULL, first expression is suppose 100 and second expression is 200, so both are not same. So in this case, it will return my first expression, that is 100. So our output will be 100, right? Now I give you the examples. Select NULLIF. Now my first expression, suppose 500. Second expression also 500 as result. Now see, in this case, my both expression is equal. Now if I execute, now it will return me as null because my both expression is equal. So whenever my both expression is equal, then it will return the value as null. But if my both value is not equal, suppose this is 100. If my both expression is not equal, then it will return my first expression value. Now see, now if I execute, now see, it is returning 500. That means my first expression, right? And one more advantage is having this NULLIF. That is, this function is basically used to avoid divide by 0 error and simplify our conditional loop. Now, for example, suppose we have to write something like this. Suppose we have a price column, okay? We have a price column. Then I have to divide this price column with my discount column, right? This is my requirement. I have to divide my price column along with my discount column. Now, wherever my discount is there, that will divide my price as it is. But suppose anywhere in any records, my discount is 0. Then price divided by 0. And you know, if we divide any value with 0, then it will show error, right? It will show error. So to avoid this type of error, what we can do? We use NULLIF. Why? Now see, if we use NULLIF and we just mention this value as 0, our second expression value is as 0. Now see what happened. Now if my discount value is there, now this value, this price will be divided by this discount value as it is. But suppose my discount is 0, my discount value is 0 in any record, then what will happen? Now if this becomes 0 and this becomes 0, so whenever my both expression is 0, then what will happen? Then whenever my both expression is 0, then it will return null, right? It will return null. Whenever my both expression is equal, then it will return null. So automatic this value will become null, this entire value will become null, right? So what will happen? Here my expression will be like price divided by null, price divided by null. And whenever any value is divided by null, then it will return also a null, right? That means it will not show any kind of error. It will not show any kind of error. If any value divided by 0, then it will show error. But if any value divided by null, then it will not show any kind of error. So to avoid this type of divide by 0 error, we have to use this NULLIF. Understand? Now I give you another example. Suppose NULLIF. Now my first expression is SQL. And second expression also SQL. As result, and I'm having another example, NULLIF. My first expression is SQL and second expression is MySQL. Now try to understand what will happen. Now see, for this example, my both expression are equal. So what will happen? In case of whenever my both expression are equal, then it will return null. Now see, it is returning as a null. Okay. And when here my both expression is not equal, right? It is SQL and this is MySQL. So whenever my both expression are not equal, then it will return my first expression itself. Now see, now if I execute, now see, it is showing the first expression, that is SQL, right? So to basically to compare our two expression, we have to use this NULLIF, and to avoid divide by 0 error, we can use our NULLIF function. Understand? Next we have COALESCE function. COALESCE function. So basically the COALESCE function returns the first null value from a list of expression. So to use this COALESCE function, basically we have to pass our list of expression. Using this function, we have to pass our expression, list of expression, expression 1, expression 2, expression 3, and so on. So it will check basically the first null value, and whenever it finds the first null value, it will return that value. Now suppose I write select COALESCE my list of expressions are, first suppose I am mentioning null. Second value also null. Third value, suppose SQL. Fourth value, MySQL. As result. Now what will happen? Now see, COALESCE basically find the first non-null value. So in what will happen? COALESCE will first check the first value, first expression. It is null, so it will go to the next expression. Second expression is also null, then it will go to the third expression. This third expression is not null, right? So whenever COALESCE finds the first non-null value, automatically this return as first non-null value, that is SQL, right? So whenever this COALESCE will find the first non-null value, it will return the first null value as a result, right? And remember, whenever it will find the first non-null value, it will stop the execution. Whenever it finds this first non-null value, it will return this value and automatically it stops the execution, right? Now see, now if I execute, now see, it is returning SQL because my SQL is my first non-null value. So it is showing as SQL. Now if I write over here MySQL and this is SQL, now see, what is my first non-null value? That is MySQL. So it will return my MySQL. Now see, it is returning MySQL, right? Now if I have all the value null, if my all values are null, then it will return null value. Now see, it is returning null value. Now if I give you another example from this employee table, now we have manager ID null. Okay, we have manager ID null value. Now if we write select COALESCE, and here as a list of expression, first I just mention my manager ID and next expression is no manager ID available as result. Now see what will happen. Whenever my manager ID is there, suppose 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever it is, this one, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Whenever any value is there, any non-null value is there, then automatically this value will return. This value will return. It will not go to the next expression because whenever COALESCE finds the non-null value, first non-null value, it will stop the execution, right? So always, whenever my manager ID is there, any value, any non-null value, then it will return this value itself. But suppose whenever any value, that means this records, whenever this records will come for this record, null value will come here. So whenever COALESCE find the first expression is null, so it will go to our next expression. Now this is my second expression and this is a non-null value, right? So automatically this value will return in this case, in this record, right? Wherever my manager ID is null, it will return my first non-null value, that is no manager ID is available. Understand? Now if I execute unknown manager, let me check my table. Manager MANAGR manager ID. Manager ID. Sorry, I have to write from employee table. Now if I execute, now see, for first record, let me write manager ID. Now see, whenever my manager ID is null, it's showing as no record, no manager ID available. Because this null value, whenever this null value comes here, so COALESCE will skip this first expression because this value is null. Then it will go to the next expression. So this expression is my non-null value. So automatically this value will be picked up, right? So in this case, whenever my manager ID is null, it will show me my not null value, first non-null value, that is no manager ID available. But whenever my manager ID is there, so this manager ID will become a proper number. That means my manager ID is not null value. Now this manager ID is not null value. So automatically this is my first not null value. So automatically this manager ID will get returned, right? Now see, whenever this manager ID is 2, so my manager ID becomes 2. So this is my first non-null value. So automatically my first non-null value, that is 2, will be returned. Right. So using COALESCE, we simply return our first non-null value. First non-null value. And whenever this function finds the first non-null value, then it will stop the execution. So I hope you understand how our different type of null handling function works in MySQL. Now we will see our next SQL function, that is flow control function. So flow control functions allow you to make decision inside SQL queries. Instead of simply retrieving data, you can return different values based on your condition, right? So in this lesson, we will learn the two most commonly used MySQL flow control function, that is if and case. So let's start with if. If function. So basically this if function allows you to implement simple conditional logic inside your SQL queries. This if simply works just like if else statement in any programming language. If our condition is true, then it will return the true value, and if our condition is false, then it will return the another value. Now our structure is if. Now here we have to mention in this parenthesis, we have to mention first our condition, then value if true, else value if false. That means whatever condition we will mention over here, if this condition is true, then it will return this true value. But if my condition is not true, then it will return this false value. Right? So this is my structure, this is my syntax, basically using if clause. Now let me show the examples. Suppose let me take one table. Let me take product table. Now we have product price. Now see, these are the product price. Okay, these are the product price. Now I have to check my price, whether my price is affordable or expensive, and I have to provide a condition. Based on a condition, I have to decide whether my price is expensive or affordable. Suppose if any price is greater than 1000, that is expensive. Okay, if my price is greater than 1000, that is expensive. But if my price is below 1000, that is affordable. This is my condition. Okay. Based on my condition, now I have to filter out whether my product price is expensive or affordable. Right. Now see, for that I have to write select. Let me take product name column. Then price column. Then now I am making my condition. If first of all I have to provide my condition. Condition is price. If price greater than equal to 1000, greater than equal to 1000 or greater than whatever it is. Suppose price greater than 1000. This is my condition. If this condition is true, then I have to provide my true value, that is expensive. If not, then I have to provide my false value, that means affordable. Now see, if my price greater than 1000, if this condition satisfied, if this condition is true, then it will return this true value. If this condition is false, then it will return this value. Right? So wherever my price is greater than 1000, that becomes expensive, and wherever my price is less than 1000, that means false, that is affordable. Right? As price category from product table. Now if I execute, now see, this price, see, is my product name, this is my price. Price is less than 1000, so it's become affordable. right? Now see 2749, it is greater than 1000, so it's become expensive. This is also expensive, this is also expensive. In the same way, see this price 440 is less than 1000, so it's become affordable. 394 becomes affordable. Now see 3300 becomes expensive, 3600 becomes expensive, 4000 also becomes expensive. Now 377 is become affordable, right? So I just put my condition. If my condition is true, then this true value will return. If my condition is false, then this false value will return, right? So basically, I'm just mentioning, if my condition is true, then return this. If my condition is false, then return this, right? Now let me give you another example. Let me take another table, payment table. Here I have amount column. Now I want to check whether my payment is high value or low value. And my condition is, if my amount is greater than 50,000, then it is high value, else it is normal value, right? Now for that I have to write select. I'm taking payment ID column, then amount column, and then I just pass my condition using this if function. Now if, first of all, I have to mention my condition. So my condition is my amount is greater than 50,000. If my amount is greater than 50,000, then I have to pass my true value. That means high value. If it is not true, then I have to provide my false value, that is normal value, as payment category. From payments. So basically, I'm creating one column, that is payment category. So basically, I'm just categorize my payment. Now see, now if I execute, now see, this 68,000, so it's become high value. 1,85,000 high value. Now see, this 7,700, so it's become normal value, because this is my below 50,000, so it's become normal value. Now see, again this 1,40,000 is more than 50,000, so it's become high value. This is also high value. This is also high value. Now see, this is 39,122. That means this is below 50,000, so it's become normal value, right? 24,000 is become normal value. So this is how basically I'm just categorize all my amount based on my condition, and my condition is this: my amount has to be greater than 50,000. So wherever my this condition is true, it's returning this true value, and wherever this condition is false, so it is returning this false value. So using this if function, we basically try to see whether my condition is true or false. If it is true, then we return this true value. If it is false, then we return false value. So using this if function, we simply implement different type of conditional logic inside our SQL queries. Next function that we have, that is case function. So basically, case function is used to implement multiple condition check inside a SQL query. See, using if we simply evaluates only one condition, but in using case, we can evaluate multiple condition together inside our query. So syntax is, first one is search case. This is commonly used. Okay, this is commonly used, search case. Now in this case, you have to write like something like this: case when condition 1, then result 1, when condition 2, then result 2, and so on, and so on. And finally, we have to write else default value. Default value. Then finally, we have to write end. So this is my structure. This is my structure, that is search case. Okay, search case. This is my structure. First of all, we have to mention case. Then we have to write when. Then we have to provide my first condition. If this first condition is true, then we have to return this result, result 1. If it is not true, then it will check this one. When this condition is true, then it will return this result, and so on. And finally, if any condition is not true, if all the condition is not true, then it will return this default value, else default value. So basically, if all the condition is not true, then it will return this value. And finally, we end our syntax, right? So this is the search case. And another we have, that is called case. Simple case. Simple case. And the syntax for simple case is, we have to write case, then we have to write our expression. Now, when value 1, then result 1. When value 2, then result 2, and so on. And finally, else default value. Default value. Right? And finally, we have to write end. So basically, using this case, we just need to mention our expression only once. Then it will check all the value one by one. If it is value 1, then it will return result 1. If it is value 2, then it will return 2, and so on. And finally, if any value is not there, then it will return this default value. Right? So this is the second syntax. So let me show you all the examples one by one. Now let me take one table, suppose product table. Now see, I have product price. Now see, in previous example, when we see this if function, here we mention only one condition. If my price is greater than 1000, then it's expensive, or else it is affordable. That means I could mention only one condition, right? One condition. Now suppose I want to categorize my price in multiple category. Here I just mention 2 category because I had to mention only one condition. Now based on my multiple condition, I want to categorize my price in different category. Suppose if my price is greater than 3000, then it's become expensive or premium. If my price is greater than 1000, then it becomes standard. If it is less than 1000, then it's become budget. That means I'm categorizing my price table in different category, along with multiple condition. That is why we have to use our case function. So now see how we can do that. Now we have to write select product name. Let me copy the same thing. Now see, here I have to use my case function. Now I have to write case when price is greater than 3000, then I just categorize this price as premium. Right? Now this is my first condition. Now I need to mention my second condition. When price greater than 1000, then categorized as standard. Standard. And finally, if my price doesn't match with this condition, then that means else I want to return my default value, that is budget. That means wherever my price is greater than 3000, that price I want to categorize as premium. Wherever my price is 1000, I want to categorize that price as a standard. And wherever this both condition is not true, that record I want to categorize as budget. Right? So basically using case, I'm mentioning my multiple condition together. In case of if, I just used single condition, but in using case, we just mention our multiple condition. In this way, you have to provide all your conditions sequentially one by one. Right? Comma won't be there. And once we mention all our condition one by one, then we have to end our syntax. We have to end our syntax. So basically, we have to start with case, then we have to mention all our condition one by one sequentially, then finally we have to end our case. So this is my syntax, and I have to give a name to this column as price category. Now see, now if I execute, now see, this is below 1000. This is my 3000 and 1000. So it is below 1000. So it is budget. So now see, this is greater than 1000, but less than 3000. So it becomes standard. 2749. Now see, this is 3029. So it is greater than 3000. So it becomes premium. Now see, 2966. 2966 is greater than 1000, but less than 3000. So it's become standard. Right? Now see. So all the value that is greater than 3000, that has been categorized as premium. All the value that is greater than 1000, that is categorized as standard. And all the value that is less than 1000, that categorized as budget. Right? So using this case function, we can use multiple condition in a single SQL query. So this is the example of search case example. This one. Search case. Okay. Now let me show you this simple case expression. Now for this, let me take another table. Suppose payment table. Now we have a payment status. Right? Payment status. Now I want to categorize this payment status table, payment status column as, suppose if my payment status is success, then I want to categorize this record as all payment done. If my payment status is pending, then I want to categorize this record as payment still pending. And another we have suppose refunded. Now in case of refunded, I just want to mention payment failed. Okay, payment failed. So basically I have to mention different type of condition. Then we can use this simple case expression. Now see how we can write this. Now here we will write select payment status. I just take this column payment status. Now here I have to write my case expression. Now I have to write case. Then what is my syntax? Now see, case, then I have to provide my expression. Right? So what is my expression? My expression is payment status. This column, payment status. My expression is payment status. So that means basically I want to check my payment status column one by one. I want to check my all the records from this payment status column. Then we have to write when. Now see what is the syntax? When value 1, then value result 2. When value 2, result 3, result 2, like this. So I have to mention when. What is my first value? That is success. When my value is success, then my result is all payment done. Right? Then I have to provide my second condition. So what is my second value? That is pending. Pending. Whenever my status is pending, then my result would be payment due. Payment due. Now again I have to mention my another condition, that is when my value is refunded. Then my result is payment failed. Now if any record doesn't match with this any of the condition, then it will show the else record, that is else unknown status. If my condition matches this one, then it will return this one, like this one. So, but if any record doesn't match with any of them, then it will show the result as this. Right? This is my else part. Now I have to end my end syntax. Now end, and I'm giving one name to this column. Status description from payments table. Now see, now if I execute, now see, pending, this show as pending due. Now see, pending payment due. So pending payment due. Success showing as payment, all payment done. Now see, success, result is all payment done. Now refunded. In case of refunded, my result is payment failed. So it is showing as payment failed. In the same way, if I have any other record except this success, pending and refund, then that will show as unknown status. Now let me check, is there any record like this? Now see here, see, one record is recorded as failed. So I did not mention any failed over here, right? I have success, pending and refunded. I don't have any failed condition. So wherever any other condition except success, pending and refunded, that will be printed as unknown status. So this failed status, this failed record has been categorized as unknown status, right? So all the record that is having status as success, pending, refunded, that will categorize as this value, this 3 value. But if any status is not mentioned over here, that will categorize as this unknown status, right? So this is how using this simple case expression we can categorize our value along with multiple condition, right? So I hope you understand how case function works, and always remember the difference between if function and case function is using if we can use only single condition, but if we want to use multiple condition together in our SQL queries, then we have to use this case function. Till now, we have learned our different type of single row SQL function like string function, numeric function, datetime function, null handling function, and flow function. Now we'll move our next SQL function, that is aggregate function. Unlike single row function, which process one row at a time, aggregate function basically process multiple rows together to produce a meaningful summarize. So basically, aggregate function are used to perform calculation on a set of rows and return a single summarized value. So basically, aggregate function are extremely used in sales reporting, business intelligence dashboard, financial reporting, customer analysis, inventory analysis, HR reporting, any kind of data analysis. All this type of analysis, you need to use this aggregate function. In this lesson, we will learn 5 most frequently used MySQL aggregate function, that is count, sum, average, minimum, and maximum. Now let's understand them one by one. First, we will start with count function. So the count function returns the number of rows or number of non-null value in a column. Always remember, the count function returns the number of rows or number of non-null values in a column. Now see, if I write the syntax, first syntax is count and star. If you write count star, then it will return number of rows in a table. So if you write count star, it will count all the records. That means all the records that you have in your table. And another syntax is count column name. This will return non-null value in that column, right? So basically, if you write count and you pass any column name, then it will return the number of non-null value in that particular column. That means if in a table, if you have total 10 records, then this count of star will return 10. But in the same table, if any column have any number of null value, suppose any column have 2 null value, right? 2 null value. Then if you write count column name, then it will give you answer as 8. Because it always gives non-null value. How many non-null value you have in that particular column, that will only give by this column count function. So if you want to know the entire record, whatever record you have, how many records, how many rows you have in your table, then you have to use count star. And if you want to know how many non-null value you have in your any particular column, then you have to use count of column name, right? Now let's see the example. Now if I consider this customer table and I want to know how many records or how many rows I have in this table, customer table, then I have to write select count star from my table name, that is customers. You already know star means all. So whenever I mention count of star, that means I want to count all my records. Star means all. So I want to count all my records. So if I want to know how many records I have, then I have to write select count star from customers. Now see, I have 500 records in my table, right? Now if I execute, now see, it is giving me answer as 500. That means 500 records or 500 row I have in my customer table. Now if I give you another example, now let me take another table, suppose order table. Now here I want to see how many records I have in my order tables. Now see, if I write select count star means all. So I want to see all the records. So how many records I have, that count. So count star from my table name, that is orders. Now if I execute, now see, it is showing as 3000. I have 3000 record in my order tables. Now see, don't be confused with this 2000 and 3000. See, this 2000 means when I'm executing using right click on my table name, then it is showing select rows limit 2000. That means MySQL already set the record limit up to 2000. So how many records you have, irrespective of that, only 2000 records will be shown. In my previous table, that is customer table, now see customer tables, I have only 500 row. That is why it is showing 500. But as in this order table, I have more than 2000, so it is showing 2000. It sets the limit as 20,000. Limit basically used to fetch any specific number of columns. So here MySQL by default set the limit as 2000. So whatever records you have, it doesn't matter, it will always show 2000 records. If it is below 2000, then it will show all the records. If it is more than 2000, then it will show first 2000 records. That is why here, if you execute this one, you see 2000 records returned. That means in my table view, only 2000 records is getting retrieved. But actually, in my order tables, I have 3000 records, right? Now I show you how to use column name using this count function. Now, for example, let me take this employee table. Now see, in this employee table, in this manager ID, I have some null value, right? Now see, if I write over here, select count start from employee table. Now see, now if I execute, how many records I have irrespective of null value, how many rows I have in my entire table, that will give me as an answer. Now see, now see, 100 records I have 100 records in my employee table, right? I have total 100 of rows in my employee table. But now if I am to get how many records I have in my employee table, that is non-null value. Okay, non-null value. So that means this 100. Now see, these 100 total records. That means if you count all the row in manager ID also, that is also having 100 of rows, right? 100 of rows. But I want to get how many records have that is non-null. How many records, how many rows this manager ID column have that is non-null value. That is having non-null value. So for that, I have to write count Here I have to pass my column name, manager ID. Now see how many null value I have, that is 10. 10 records I have where my manager ID is null. So basically it will give me all the non-null value. So basically it will give me the total number of records minus null values. That means it will give me answer as 90. Now see, now if I execute, now see, it is giving me answer as 90. Now I show you how to see how many unique records you have in your any column. Suppose this is my customer table. Now see, I have state column. Now suppose if I write in this table, I don't have any null value in any column, right? So if I write count star from customer, this will give me answer as 500. Now if I write count of state, that is also giving me answer as 500, because in my entire table I don't have any null value in any column, especially in state column. So if I write over here country, that is also giving me same answer, that is 500, because country is not having any null value. Now see, that is also 500, right? Now let me count how many unique value I have in this state column, or how many unique value I have in this country column, right? For that, what I have to do, just I have to write distinct. You know, distinct means all the unique values. Distinct means all the unique value from a column. So basically using distinct function, we retrieve all the unique value from a column. So I'm basically writing distinct country. That means whatever unique value I have in my country column, that will get retrieved first, then that will be counted using this count function. Using this distinct function, I will retrieve all the unique value from this country column, then I will count that many records using this count function. Now see, now if I execute, now see 10. That means I have 10 unique country in my entire record. These are my 500 records. In these 500 records, I have 10 unique country name. In the same way, if I write state, that means it will first retrieve all the unique value from this state column. This distinct function will retrieve all the unique values from the state column, and this count function will count all that value, all that unique values. Now if I execute, now see, I have 19 unique state in my entire record. I have 19 state in my entire table. That means in 500 records. In 500 records, I have 19 unique state. Right? Next function that will run, that is sum. Sum function. Basically, the sum function returns the total sum of numeric values in a column. Sum function returns the total sum of numeric values in a column. Always remember, sum function works on only numeric column. It is one of the most commonly used aggregate function for calculating totals in report and dashboard. Suppose you want to get total sales, total revenue, total payments. So wherever you want to get the total aggregated value, total sum value on a numeric column, then you have to use this sum function. And the syntax is sum, and here you have to provide your column name. Column name. That's it. Now, for example, if I take this order table, suppose I want to get I have total amount column. So these are my individual records. Now I want to sum this entire column. So I want to get the entire sum of this total amount column, right? So for that I have to write select sum. Now which column I want to sum? That is total amount. Total amount. As total sales from order table. That means I am adding all the value from this column. Now if I execute, now see, the sum of this total amount column is this one. This is my individual value. Total amount column, this is my individual value. If I add all the value, basically if I perform my sum operation on this entire value, then I will get this amount. This amount. So I'm adding all the value of this total amount column. Now if I take another table, payment table. Now see, I have amount column. So these are my individual amount. Now I want to sum all the values of this amount column. Now for that I have to write select sum of amount as total payment from payment. Now if I execute, now see, it basically sum up all the records of this amount column, right? So to sum up all the numeric value from a column, we have to use this sum function. Now let's move to our next function, that is average. Average function returns the average, that means mean value of a numeric column. Sum also works in numeric column, average also works in numeric column only, right? So using sum we sum up all the records, using average we find out the mean value of that particular column. Now if I take the same example, just here I have to pass a averaged. That means I want to get the average value of my amount column. Now if I execute, now see, this is my average value of my amount column from this payment table. Now if I take this example as well, I want to get average value of this total amount column. Now if I execute, now see, the average value of this total amount column is this one, right? Now if I give another example, suppose product table. Now see, this is my price. So these are my price of each product, right? Each product. Now I want to get the average value of my product. So basically I have to average my entire, all the records. I have to average my all the records of this price column. Now if I write, select average of price as average value from products. Now see, this is the average value of my product. So this is my average value of this price column. So whenever you want to get the mean value or average value of a numeric column, then you have to use this average function. Now next we have min function, that is minimum. The min function basically returns the smallest value from a column. And always remember, means work on numeric column, date column, at the same time character column as well. Now I give you the examples. See, this is my product table. So this is my price. So I have here different type of price. Now I want to get what is the minimum value that I have in my price column. That means what is the minimum price I have in my table. Now for that I have to write select mean of price as mean value from products. That means in my entire table, whatever minimum value I have in this price column, that will get retrieved. Now if I execute, now see, minimum value I have, that is 55.93. Now if I take another example, suppose put the payment table. Here also I want to get the minimum payment amount. So for that I have to write select mean of amount as mean value from payments. Now if I execute, now see, this is the minimum value, lowest value I have in my amount column in this payment table, right? Now if I take order table, now see, this is my order date. Now if I run minimum function in this date column, then it will give me the minimum date. That means the earliest order date. Okay, minimum means earliest order date. So as I told you, minimum also work in numeric, date and character column. Now if I write select mean of order date value as earliest order date from orders. Now if I execute, now see, This is the earliest date. This is the first date where my order gets recorded. So this is my first order. This is my first order. So in this way, you can get the earliest date from a date column. Now another example. Now min also works in character column as well. Now suppose if I execute my customer column, now this is my customer name column. Now if I write select min of customer name, now see what will happen when I'm using this min function in a text column. Then what will happen? It will basically arrange all my customer name in alphabetical order. Then it will give me the first customer name. Now let me show you from customers. Now see, now see my customer name in my table. My customer name is starting with John Smith. Now if I execute, now see it is giving me Alice Allen. So basically using this min functions, basically first of all the customer name is get arranged in alphabetical order. Then it will give me the very first value using this min function. So always remember min function always work in numeric column, date column, and at the same time text column. Next we have max function, that is maximum. So max is just opposite of min. Max also work on numeric column, date column, and text column as well. And max is just like opposite of min. So if I take the same example, now if I write max, that means it will arrange my customer name in alphabetical order, and it will give me the last value of my customer name. Now if I execute, now see this is my last value. R is my last alphabet that I have in my customer name. So it is giving me this one. So this is my max value. Now if I write this one, if I take this one, this is my max. The earliest date, this is my latest date. So using min, I get my earliest date, and using max, I get my latest date. So last date. Now see, this is my last date where my order gets stored in my table. And if I see this example, max. So this is my min value of my product, that means 55.93. Now I am to get my maximum value from this price column. Now see, now if I execute, now see this is the highest value. This is the highest value that is having in my price column. Now if I take this example, so this is my min value of this amount column, 345.03. This was my minimum value. And now if I execute, now see this is my maximum value of this amount column, right? So this is minimum and maximum. Using minimum, we get the minimum value from a column, and using maximum, we get the maximum value from a column. And always remember, minimum and maximum both function works on numeric column, date column, and text column as well. That's all for this aggregate function. So now we have successfully completed our entire SQL function, where we have learned about singular function and aggregate function both. So guys, I hope you understand this SQL function very clearly. This is very important and crucial chapter for SQL. So try to learn it properly, as you need to use them regularly on your daily job. So practice all different type of functions examples, as many as possible, with the provided datasets.